Hello, we are the DanaeCare team, a French association, and we are currently carrying out an action aimed at co-making a territory supporting carers in Saint-Étienne Métropole in France. According to Eurocarers, a carer is a person who provides usually unpaid care to someone with a chronic illness, disability or other long-lasting health or care needs outside the professional or formal framework. The approach initiated by DanaeCare, co-making a territory supporting carers, focuses on carers of people affected by all pathologies, including the term of old age, and on their journey through the carers ecosystem, on the scale of a given territory, Saint-Étienne Métropole in France. This approach was based on several issues. First, a territorial issue. Historically in France, the subject and status of carers has been built around old age and the loss of autonomy. The result is a territorial translation of the carer ecosystem segmented by major terms or pathologies: old age and loss of autonomy, physical disability or illness, and mental disability. This segmentation has shown that it complicates the path of carers. Indeed, people that carers care about find themselves at the crossroads of pathologies. This is why DanaeCare's project has been built in a transversal and transpathological way in order to propose a coherent territorial approach for carers and the stakeholders of care sector. Second, a legal issue. The disparate legislative and regulatory provisions relating to carers in France make it all the more difficult for carers to have recourse to the law. Whether it is a question of their status or their role in the care of their relatives, the situation of carers and their trajectory in the carer ecosystem are complicated by the disparity of legal texts and legal statuses relating to carers. For example, relative carer, family carer, natural carer. Third, a sociological issue. Based on the 2017 report by the Caisse nationale de solidarité pour l'autonomie, CNSA, entitled Accompagnement des proches aidants, data on the typology of carers at the national level and the impact of the supportive relationship on carers reveal that the act of providing support is not without consequences for the lives of carers. All of these impacts, in terms of health, relationships, and finances, result in multiple and changing needs for carers. Finally, a public health issue. Public policies have taken up this major social and societal challenge by developing a national plan for 2018 on old age and loss of autonomy, in which support for carers is promoted. At the same time, they are prioritizing home care for people in a situation of dependency in order to rethink the care pathway and quality of life of people with loss of autonomy. In this context, carers are at the heart of the self-help system, which is based on the balance between public intervention and family solidarity.
It is from this observation that DanaeCare's By and for Carers action was born in 2019, developed as part of an inclusive and transpathological approach to health democracy. This action has mobilized associations from Saint-Étienne and the Loire region for patients and carers, local authorities, health institutions, and universities in order to identify the needs of local carers, to design with them and for them the solutions that are adapted to the territory and to local carers, and to document the entire system with a view to its dissemination. The whole action is thus intended to co-making a territory supporting carers. After 1 year of mobilization and consultation, using participatory research tools, the action has raised several issues relating to supporting carers of our territory, the main ones being improving the centralization of information on carers, raising awareness among care professionals and students, strengthen the territorial and administrative network, helping to identify and self-identify carers in order to promote interassociative and transpathological action to support carers. These challenges, as varied as they may be now, converge into a common object, identified and identifiable by all of those involved in the care sector and by the carers themselves. L'escale des aidants, or the carers stopover.
The combination of research action and health democracy makes it a relevant field of research for social and public health issues. During my participation in the DanaeCare's workshops, which were my field of study for 7 months, it became clear that the theme of caregiving is a research subject at the crossroad of several policies: social, medical, public health, training, education, and medicine. It's a recent subject and therefore rather difficult to deal with in the sociological field. Yet, we are seeing an increase in the power and visibility of carers. Still, how are they organized? In Saint-Etienne, their empowerment takes the form of work groups that want to act in a concrete way on local policies. One of the main difficulties in these relationships is the following one: how to move from a social, family, and invisible role, which is confined as a natural act, to a real, legal, and political status. How do carers become beneficiaries of financial and social rights? My comprehensive approach of carers was made by combining several methodologies, such as observation, documentation, and the collection of their words and their experience through interviews. What should we remember? 3 main observations and results deserve to be highlighted. Firstly, associations are often the first recourse for family carers. The associations chosen are corresponding to the pathology of the person being cared for. In the case of family carers of the elderly, the social and financial rights seems to be better known, but it's still necessary to know them and dare to ask for one's right. This observation is directly related to the question of awareness of one's role as a carer or not. Therefore, the development of means to identify informal carers must be one of the priorities of public and social policies. Secondly, the choice to be a carer must be mentioned. Indeed, does helping my loved ones make me a carer? No matter how well informed the carer may be, he or she will rarely engage in a benefit-risk study before making a decision to help his or her loved one on a regular basis. The difficulty begins when the carer is not or is no longer in a position to provide limits in terms of the duration, volume, and skills that the help requires. The conditions under which the choice to help is made are fundamentally linked to the private sphere. They impact family ties and depend on the social, financial, and environmental context in which people find themselves. We sometimes speak of a suffered choice. The representation of natural help towards their ascendant or relatives does not give these people the opportunity to question their role. Third, care is a process in which multiple stakeholders are involved: carers, patients, relatives, administrations, institutions, technical objects, and medicines. Carers increasingly play a coordinating role between these stakeholders. Consequently, the sharing of tasks and roles between carers and health professionals questions the boundaries of the action provided, which are the result of negotiations and adjustment between them. DanaeCare's local action enables us to identify areas for reflection and relevant research problematics to question social action and the organizations of healthcare. If the theme of carers is revealing of the French societal, economic, and political organization, questions of recognition remain unanswered. Is the experience of caregiving enough to make the expertise? Is the carer a core caregiver? Carers do not only care and caregivers do not only cure. The aim here is not to answer these questions, but rather to insist on the importance of joint work between carers and professionals to prevent situations where there is a break in the journey and to co-making a territory supporting carers.